Hey guys, Mr. Breen here to talk to you about Latin future tense verbs. It's going to be very exciting. It will be really awesome, and I'm gonna stop now. Okay. All right. First, I'm gonna talk about how English forms the future, and you guys know this, right? So, present tense, we have the mob listens to Gracchus. Listens. Okay. But then in the future, in English, we just put in a will listen. So as usual, English just sort of adds a word in order to form the future. And actually, this is only one of the ways that we can form the future. We also do sort of a is going to listen to Gracchus. That's acceptable as well. But usually we're going to say will. So when you guys are translating the future, we are going to want you to say will verb. So if you're metaphrasing, will verb is what we're looking at there. So now the question becomes, how does Latin form the future? And actually, it's surprisingly obnoxious for Latin. Usually Latin is much easier than the English here. English is actually quite a bit easier, but it's really not that bad. So let me show you. For first and second conjugation verbs, we're going to use bo, be, and boo. Okay, and it's going to follow actually the O, four eyes, U rule that the third conjugation present follows. So let me show you. Let's take something really easy like amo, amara. We're going to go ama, and it's going to start out just like the imperfect, but it's going to go ama, bo, ama, and we're going to use our most must isn't, o, as, t, mus, tis, nt, endings. That's a terrible S there, but it is an S. So ama, bis, ama, bit. Okay, and then in the plural, amabimus, amabitis, and amabunt. Okay, so not that bad. And then the third IO, and fourth, we're going to go A in the first person singular, and everywhere else, E. So we'll take another easy one, ago, agara. It's going to go ag, A, and then instead of the O, we're going to use M, agam, ag, and then everywhere else, E, ages, get, agemus, mus, that's a mus, agetis, and agent, and that's future. Okay, if we were going to translate this, amabo, I will love. Notice, no M. We're not using an M, we're using the O ending there. Here, agam, I will lead. And you can, as usual, read it backwards or forwards. That M, first person singular, I. Will, because it's A and E. Okay, that's the future part. Ag, I will lead. Okay. Now, at this point, I want to remind you guys of how you can tell what conjugation each of these verbs is. Okay, and it's really, really easy. Okay, first conjugation verbs have a long A, and I don't have a long mark there, but there is a long mark there, and that's first. That's how you know. Okay. Second conjugations have a long E, and again, there should be a long mark there. In your Latin texts, there will be a long mark, but that's how you know second. And they tend to go EO in the first person singular, like that. Third conjugations go short ERE, and there won't be a long mark there. Okay, let me circle how you know. Circle that short E, no EO there. Look at just O. And then third IO, which is sort of part of third conjugation, but not really. It's kind of halfway between a third and a fourth. Again, short E there, but in the first person singular, IO. Notice that I doesn't exist over here in the infinitive. Okay, and fourth, you have a long I. That's a long mark there. You have a long I in the infinitive. That's how you know. And it goes EO just like that. But that's how you tell. Now, if you're just sort of out in the wild translating Latin and you see, something that ends ENT, how do you know if it's a second conjugation present or a third conjugation future? Well, you have to know your vocabulary. Yep, that means that part of knowing vocabulary isn't just knowing that this word means to rule, but knowing that second principal part and knowing that it's a third conjugation verb. You have to know that stuff. Okay, let's try a couple more of these just to give you a little bit more examples of how these work. And this time I'm going to use a second conjugation like video, videre. And so, okay, we're going to use bo, be, boo. Okay, videbo, videbis, and I can actually just go let's just write this part and then we'll get to the endings later. Whoops, forgot that. Oh, okay, well anyway. Another b, four eyes, and then a u. And then we'll just put the endings on o, s, t, mus, tis, and t. There you go. That's a second conjugation. And then we'll switch to the color black, and we'll go with, let's say, audio. Good, fourth conjugation, audio. And this is going to use A and E, so we're going to go audi. I'll just do it in parts. Audi, audi, audi. We're going to do this 6 times. Audi, audi, audi. Now we're going to go and then everywhere else E. E, 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 E. S, T, mus, tis, and T. So it's going to go audiam, audies, audiet, audiemus, audietis, audient. Excellent. So this whole bobeboo, A and E thing is why we say, and this is our future tense sort of remembering phrase, right? Bobeboo 1 and 2. Bobeboo 1 and 2. Bobeboo 1 and 2. A and E 4 and 3, and that 3 includes third IO. But bobeboo 1 and 2, A and E 4 and 3. Okay, I want to go ahead and make sure that we take care of this sort of potentially confusing thing right here. And this is the kind of thing that gets a lot of Latin students when they're translating, when they're trying to form these or identify forms. But one really obnoxious thing about Latin futures is that second declension presents often look like, second conjugation presents often look like third conjugation futures. Let me show you what I mean. Here's the present tense of this. Teneo, tenace, tenet, tenemos, tenatus, tenent. Okay? I hold, you hold, he, she, it holds. We hold, y'all hold, they hold. Present. Then let's do the future of this. Gets a third, so we're going to go A and E. Agam, ages, agat, agamos, agatus, agent. Okay. So this is I will hold. Lead. I will lead. You will lead. He, she, it will lead. We will lead. Y'all will lead. They will lead. But notice that except for these first person singulars, all the rest of them look the same. What can you do? Well, you're really just going to have to know that this is a third conjugation. This is a second conjugation, and that is part of vocabulary. And if you know your vocabulary, you go from that to this. Yay, we're happy to know our vocabulary. Okay, anyway, that's all I got for you. So, here's the future tense.